Hello everyone. Our today's topic is simple stress and strain. Before studying stress and strain, I will tell you what is meant by strength of a material. Strength of material means as a machines and its various parts subjected to various types of load are made from various material. Hence, before designing that machines and their part, we know about that material strength. So it is called as the strength of material. The strength of material is also known as the mechanics of material, mechanics of solid, mechanics of structure, mechanics of deformable body. Generally, stress and strain totally depend upon the different bodies and different load. So first, we discuss about types of body. Generally, there are three body. First is elastic body, second is a plastic body, third is a rigid body. Elastic body means a body regain its original dimension after removal of load. Consider there is one body. On that body we apply some amount of load. After applying some amount of load, that body changes its size and shape. After removal of that load, that body again comes its original position, and that body is called as elastic body. A perfect example of elastic body is a spring. Second is a plastic body, which is exactly different to the elastic body. Plastic body means a body does not regain its original dimension after removal of load. Consider same body, same amount of load, apply on that body. After applying load on that body changes its size and shape. After removal of load, that body does not regain its original position, and that body is called as a plastic body. And in the third case, a rigid body does not undergo any change in dimension after applying load. So these are the types of body. In elastic and plastic body, one word is different, that is elastic body, which is regain its original size and shape after removal of load, while plastic body does not regain its original size and shape after removal of a load. The next point, or this is the example of a elastic body. Spring is an example of elastic body. This is our spring. On that spring we apply force, which is a tensile force, and due to this force spring's dimension changes. But when we remove the force, the spring again come its original position. Then we come towards the types of load. Generally there are three types of load: direct or axial load, second is an eccentric load, third is a shear load. Direct load means a load whose line of action coincide with the axis of body is called as a direct or axial load. Eccentric load means a load whose line of action does not coincide with axis of body. It's called as eccentric load. This is a figure of direct load and eccentric load. In that figure, one body is given. On that body, force is applied, and that force having line of action is coincide with axis of that body. In second case, in eccentric load, same figure is given. In the same figure, same load is also given, but the load line of action does not coincide with the axis of a body. It is called as a eccentric load. The load's line of action, this is the line of action of load. This is the axis of a body which does not coincide with line of action of a load. So it is called as eccentric load. So these are the difference between direct load and eccentric load. Direct load's line of action is coincide with the axis of body. In eccentric load's line of action does not coincide with the axis of a body. Then third is a shear load. A shear load which is acted tangential to the plane of body. A perfect example of shear load is when we apply jam on a bread by using knife. This is a perfect example of a shear load. When we apply jam on bread, we apply tangentially or parallel to the plane. This is a perfect example of a shear load. So now we turn towards the concept of a stress. Stress, when a body of an elastic material is acted upon by an axial force, then body undergoes some deformation, and during this process body opposes deformation. That is process called as a stress. When a body of elastic material is acted upon by an axial force, then body undergoes some deformation. During this process body opposes deformation. That process is called as stress. Or in other language, the force of resistance offered by a body against deformation per unit cross section area is called as a stress. In figure I will clear you what is meant by stress. In the in figure there is circular rod. On the circular rod there is force P is applied. Due to the force, here some internal resistance is occurred. This internal resistance produces deformation and causes stress. These are the internal resistance which are exactly opposite to the direction of a force. Generally, mathematically stress is sigma is equal to P upon A. Stress is denoted Stress is denoted by sigma. So sigma is equal to P upon A. Here sigma is stress, P stand for applied force, A stand for area of a that section or area of that a body. SI unit of stress. SI unit of stress is totally depend upon SI unit of force and SI unit of area. We know the SI unit of force is Newton or kilonewton. We know the SI unit of area is meter square, millimeter square, or centimeter, whatever. So we consider millimeter. So stress SI unit is Newton per mm square, or Newton per centimeter square, or Newton per meter square, or kilonewton per meter square, kilonewton per mm square, or kilonewton per centimeter square. But stress is also measured in Pascal. Here 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per m square, 1 kilopascal is equal to 10 raised to 3 Pascal, 1 megapascal is 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter square, 1 gigapascal is equal to 10 raised to 9 mm square. Generally stress having three types. One is direct stress, second is the shear stress, third is the bending stress. In direct stress, which is exactly occurred due to the direct load, shear stress exactly occurred due to the shear load, bending stress exactly occurred due to the eccentric load. Now we see one by one what is meant by direct stress, what is meant by shear stress, and what is meant by bending stress. In direct stress, there are again two types are come: tensile stress and compressive stress. These are the three diagram of types of stresses. First, tensile stress. What is meant by tensile stress? The tensile stress means when two equal and opposite pull forces is applied on a body is subjected to tension, and this tension stress is developed is called as a tensile stress. This is a figure of a tensile stress. Here is one rectangular body shown. On that rectangular body force P is applied, and that force P is applied in the pull nature. Applied is on the pull nature, and due to this pull nature, here some internal resistances occurred which is opposite direction in pull, and here some stresses are formed, and this is called as the tensile stresses, which is also formed due to the direct load. Second is the compressive stress. Compressive stress means when two equal and opposite push force is applied on a body is subjected to compression and stress is developed into the body is called as a compressive stress. We'll show you by the example. This is a rectangular body. On the rectangular body, one compressive force is applied, and due to this compressive force, this compressive force is direct force or direct load, because their line of action are coincide with the axis of a body, and due to this compressive force or compressive load, here internal resistances occur, and due to this internal resistance, here stress is developed, and this stress is called as compressive stress. It is called as compressive stress because acting load is push type. It is called as tensile stress because acting load is pull type. Generally, tensile stress is considered as a positive sign, where compressive stress is considered as a negative sign. So tensile stress is occurred due to the pull force, where compressive stress is occurred due to the push force. The next is shear stress. Simply, I will tell you what is meant by shear stress. The shear stress is induced due to shear load. and shear load is acted by tangential or parallel. Tensile stress or compressive stress are induced due to the direct load, because direct load is acting, or direct load whose line of action is coincide with axis of body, where shear stress is induced due to the shear load, a shear load which is tangential or parallel to the plane. So in definition, when body is subjected to two equal and opposite forces acting tangentially, and due to this stress induced is called as a shear stress. It is denoted by tau later. By figure I will explain you. This is one figure. On that figure, this is the one force which is applied on parallelly to the plane of that body. It is called as a shear load, and due to this shear load, stresses are developed here, and that stresses are called as a shear stress. Another one example here given. This is a body. On that body, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 forces are applied, and all that 4 forces are tangential or parallel to the plane of a body, and due to these 4 forces some stresses are developed here, and that stresses are called as a shear stress, and these loads are called as a shear load. The next is the bending stress. Bending stress, simply bending stress which is formed due to the eccentric load. Simply formed eccentric load. This is the eccentric load. The eccentric load's line of action does not coincide with the axis of body, and due to this some stresses are here formed, and that stress is called as a bending stresses. So these are the types of stresses. First type is direct stress. Direct stress which is formed due to the direct load, and direct load which is formed with the direct load which is coincide with the axis of a body. Direct load having two types, tensile stress and compressive stress. Tensile stress means our forces direction in pull direction. Compressive stress means forces direction in push type direction. Then second is shear stress, which is act or which is induced due to the shear load. Shear load is actually tangential to the plane of body. So due to this some stresses are formed, and that stresses are called as shear stress. It is denoted by tau. The next is bending stress. Bending stress is formed or induced due to the eccentric load. Eccentric load which is does not coincide with axis of a body. So it is called the eccentric load, and due to this eccentric load some bending stresses are formed. And these are about the types of stresses. Once again I will tell you what is meant by stress, what is meant by types of stress, SI unit of stress. Stress means, simply I will tell you mathematically, stress means it is the ratio of force upon area, where stress is denoted by letter sigma. P means applied force, A means area of that body. So it is the ratio of force upon area. Stress having SI unit is Newton per mm square or Newton per centimeter square, Newton per meter square. Also it is measured in Pascal. Stress having three types: direct stress, shear stress, bending stress. Direct stress which is formed due to direct load. Direct load whose line of action coincide with the axis of body. Shear stress which is formed due to the shear load. Shear load which is parallelly or tangentially applied on the body. Bending stress which is formed due to the eccentric load. Eccentric load's line of action does not coincide with the axis of body. These are about the stress and their types. Now we turn towards strain. Whenever in body some stresses are formed, at that time some strains are also formed. So what is meant by strain? Strain means when a body is subjected some external force, then there is some change in dimension of a body, and then that change in dimension to the original dimension is known as strain. Simply I will tell you, strain means it is the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension of a body is known as strain. It is denoted by small letter e or epsilon. Strain has no SI unit. This figure shows explanation of the strain. In that figure one body is given. At that body, one end is fixed, another end is free. The body having 100 mm length. On the body applying 10 kilonewton axial pull load, applying 10 kilonewton axial pull load, and due to this 10 kilonewton axial pull load, there is some deformation occur. That deformation means its length should be increased as 100 to 105 mm, and that increasing length is called as a deformation or delta L. So definition of the strain is ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension of a body. So strain having four types. First is a linear strain, second is a lateral strain, third is a volumetric strain, fourth is a shear strain. Now we see one by one types of strain. First, linear strain. Linear strain is totally related with the length of a body. So linear strain definition is, it is a ratio of change in length to the original length. Here delta is stand for change. So delta stand for change, L for stand for length. So change in length to the original length. It is called as a linear strain. Lateral strain, it stand for changes in lateral dimension. Lateral dimension like diameter, like thickness, like width. So definition is it is a ratio of change in lateral dimension to the change to the original dimension. So delta B divided by B, or delta in change in diameter, so delta D divided by D, or delta T divided by T. The next is the volumetric strain. Volumetric strain is related to the change in volume. Change in volume is change in volume to the original volume is the definition. The delta V divided by V is the formula for volumetric strain. And last is the shear strain. It is shear strain is occurred due to the shear stress. These are the four types of the strain. This is one of the example of linear strain and lateral strain. This is a main body. On that main body, we apply some axial pull, and due to this axial pull, body should be elongated or changes its length, and it is called as a strain. That body should be elongated, and that elongation is called as a change in length, or longitudinal strain or lateral strain. In second case, lateral strain, same body is given. On that body, compressive force is applied, and due to compressive force, the diameter of that body, it should be changes like this, and that changes is called as a strain. So this is a lateral strain. The next figure is a shear strain. This is our main body. Dotted line shows main body. This is a shear load which is tangential or parallel to the plane, and due to this strain is produced, stress and strain is produced, and changes is occur like such that it is called as a shear strain. So these are the types of strain. I will again tell you what is meant by strain and types of strain. Strain means it is a ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension. Strain has no SI unit. Strain has four types. First is the linear strain, second is the lateral strain, third is the volumetric strain, fourth is the shear strain. In a linear strain, related to length, so it is ratio of change in length to the original length. Lateral strain means it is the ratio of change in lateral dimension to the original dimension. Volumetric strain is related to change in volume to the original volume, and shear strain is related to due to the shear stress. These are about the stress and strain. Now we turn towards some basic concept like Hooke's law, Young's modulus, modulus of rigidity, and bulk modulus. So what is meant by Hooke's law? Hooke's law means when elastic material is loaded within the elastic limit, the stress is produced is directly proportional to the strain. In mathematical stress, sigma is directly proportional to the small e. So what is meant by elastic limit? A elastic limit is nothing but one limit. After that limit, property of the material should be changes. Means elasticity is converted into plasticity. When elasticity is converted to plasticity, that limit is called as a elastic limit. Next point is the Young's modulus or modulus of rigidity. Young's modulus or modulus of rigidity, it is denoted by capital E. So its definition is, it is a ratio of stress upon strain. Mathematically it is shown in PPT. Capital E is equal to sigma upon small e. Here capital E is equal to Young's modulus. Sigma stands for stress, E stands for strain. Next definition is modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity is denoted by letter G, C or N. Its definition, it is the ratio of shear stress to the shear strain. It's mathematically shear stress is denoted by tau, shear stress is denoted by phi, tau upon phi is the formula. Then third is the bulk modulus. Bulk modulus is denoted by letter K. Its definition is the ratio of direct stress to the volumetric strain. So K is equal to sigma divided by small ev. K stands for bulk modulus, sigma stands for stress, E stands for strain, V stands for volume. Next point is the deformation under axial loading. Consider here is BC type bar. That BC bar is fixed at one end and free at A end, and A end applying one for axial pull type of force P, and that bar having length L, and due to this force P, some changes or elongation is occur, and that elongation or some means changes in length is occur, and that change in length is delta L here shown here. So how to calculate delta L? Delta L's formula is PL upon E. For calculating delta L, we use the formula of Young's modulus. For calculating delta L, we use the formula of stress, formula of strain, and formula of Young's modulus. We know the formula of stress. Stress means P upon A, that is load upon area. Strain means delta L upon L. Delta L means change in length to the original length. And Young's modulus means stress upon strain. So we know all these values. So stress means P upon A divided by small e means delta L divided by L. After calculating this, we got answer delta L is equal to PL upon E or sigma L upon E. So these are the some theoretical part. The theoretical part means types of in the theoretical part we discuss types of body. Again, I will all the points are repeat. In theoretical part, first we discussed types of body. There are three types of body: elastic body, plastic body, rigid body. In elastic body, body does not regain its original dimension after removal of load. In plastic body, in elastic body, body regain its original dimension after removal of load. In plastic body, body does not regain its original dimension after removal of load. Here word important is regain and does not regain. In rigid body, does not need change in dimension after applying a load. The spring is a better example of elastic body. Then types of load. Generally, there are three types of load: direct load, eccentric load, and shear load. In direct load, line of action of load coincide with the axis of body. In eccentric load, line of action does not coincide with the axis of body. In shear load, load is act tangential or parallel to the plane of a body. Then we discuss or we study stress. Stress means force upon area. Mathematically, sigma is equal to P upon A. Stress having SI Newton per mm square or meter square or centimeters, Newton per meter square or Newton per mm square or Newton per centimeter square. Stress having three types: direct stress, shear stress, bending stress. Direct stress is induced due to the direct load. Shear stress are induced due to the shear load. Bending stress are induced due to the eccentric load. Then we discussed by strain. Strain means change in dimension to the original dimension of a body. It is denoted by small e. Strain has no SI unit. Strain having four types: linear strain or longitudinal strain, lateral strain, volumetric strain, and shear strain. In linear strength, it is related to change in length to the original length. Lateral strength, it is related to the change in lateral dimension to the original dimension, that is delta B divided by B, delta D divided by D, delta T divided by T. Volumetric strain, it is related to the volume, change in volume to the original volume. And shear strain is depend on due to the shear stress. Then we see some basic concept like Hooke's law, Young's modulus, that is capital E is equal to sigma upon small e, bulk modulus K is equal to sigma upon EV. Then deformation under axial load, the formula is delta L is equal to PL upon E. From all the theoretical part, now we see or some problems, some basic problems related to the Young's modulus, related to the stress, related to the strain. From that first problem is, in a tension test, metallic rod of diameter 16 mm produces an elongation of 48 mm. When subjected to 90 kN load, the length of the bar is 150 mm. Find modulus of elasticity. Suppose there is one metallic rod, and that metallic rod having diameter 16 mm, and that metallic rod having load 90 kN, which is axially pulled with a length of 150 mm. So we have to, due to this 90 kilonewton, some elongation is also produces here. Elongation is also produced. That elongation is 48 mm. That is change in length is 48 mm. We have to calculate modulus of elasticity, that is Young's modulus. The formula for Young's modulus is stress divided by strain. We don't know the value of stress, we don't know the value of strain. Then first we calculate the stress and strain. The formula for stress is load upon area. We know the value of load, that is 90 kilonewton, but we don't know the value of area. Then first we calculate the values of area. This metallic rod is in a solid circular body. So formula for area is pi by 4 d square. So d is 16 square. All these values are put in calculator. So we got answer 0.44 kilonewton per mm square. Then we calculate strain. The formula for strain is delta L divided by L. Delta L is given 48 and original length is given 150 mm. After putting the values in calculator, we got answer 0.32. Strain has no SI unit. Then we calculate Young's modulus by using formula stress upon strain. Already we calculate values of stress is 0.44 and already we calculate values of strain, that is 0.32. After putting this value in calculator, we got the answer, that is 1.4 kilonewton per mm square. In this way we calculate modulus of elasticity. Then we then second problem. In second problem, a bar 500 mm long, that is one bar is given, solid circular bar is given, and that bar having length is 500 mm and 22 mm diameter. That bar is in diameter is 22 mm, is elongated by 1.2 mm, means under effect of axial pull of 105 kN, means that bar is having load of axial pull of 105 kN, and due to this load that bar is elongated or deformed or changes its length by 1.2 mm, that is delta L is also given. Then we have to calculate stress, strain and modulus of elasticity of the bar. L is given, D is given, delta L is given, P is also given 105 kilonewton. We convert it into Newton, 105 into 10 raised to 3. We have to calculate stress. For calculating stress, the formula is load upon area. We know the value of load 105 into 10 raised to 3. But for calculating area, this rod is, or this bar is solid circular. So formula for area is pi by 4 d square. D is given 22 square. After putting this value in calculator, we got an answer of 276.22 Newton per mm square. Then second, we calculate strain. For calculating strain, the formula is delta L divided by L. Delta L is given 1.2 mm and L is given is 500 mm. After putting this value in calculator, we got an answer of 0.0024. Here is no SI unit because strain has no SI unit. Then third, we calculate Young's modulus. For calculating Young's modulus, the formula is stress upon strain. The value of stress already we calculated. The value of strain is also already we calculated 0.0024. After putting this value 5091.67 Newton per mm square answer we got. In this way, we calculated stress, strain, and Young's modulus. This is our second problem. In third problem, a steel rod 800 mm long and 60 mm into 20 mm in cross section is subjected to an axial push of 89 kN. The modulus of elasticity is 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Calculate stress, strain and reduction in the length of the rod. Means consider here one steel rod. That steel rod having length. So next is stress, strain and reduction in length. So first use the formula like stress and strain. So stress formula is load upon area. So we know the value of load, that is 89 kilonewton. That kilonewton is converted to Newton because Young's modulus is given into Newton per mm square. Hence we convert into kilonewton into Newton. So 89 into 10 raised to 3 is the value of load. Then area is also given, 16 to 20 means 1200 mm square is the area. After putting this value in calculator, we got an answer of stress, that is 74.17 Newton per mm square. Then second, we have to calculate strain. Formula for strain is delta L divided by L. But here we don't know the value of delta L. So we use the formula of Young's modulus. The formula of Young's modulus is capital E is equal to sigma upon small e. Here we after shuffling this E, capital E into downward and small e into upward, we got a formula, that is small e is equal to sigma upon capital E. Here we know the value of stress already calculated, 74.17. We know the value of Young's modulus, 22.1 into 10 raised to 5. All these values after calculation, we got answer of 0.00035319. Strain has a no S in it. And third is a reduction in reduction because we are applying the force is a compressive force, and the reduction means change in length, that is delta L. For calculating delta L, the formula is PL upon E. We know the value of P, L, A and E. After putting this, we got an answer of 0.2825 mm. The another formula for delta L is a sigma L upon capital E. P upon A means P upon, how it is come? So P upon A means sigma, L is as it is, and Young's modulus also as it is. So sigma L upon capital E, so we used it. So in this way we calculated stress, strain and delta L. Then the next problem is bar of cross sectional area 200 mm square. Consider there another one is bar. The bar having area, that area is given, is 200 mm square, is axially pulled by force P. That bar having load of P, which is direct load or axial load by force of P. We don't know the value of P. If the maximum stress induced in the bar is 30 megapascal, due to this load, some stresses are produced here, and that stresses is also given, that is sigma is equal to 30 megapascal. Megapascal converted into Newton per mm square, that is 30 Newton per mm square. Determine P. We have to determine the value of P. If elongation is 1.2 mm, due to this load, some elongation is occur here, and that elongation is given 1.2 mm. Also gauge length is given 3 meter. All other units are in mm. Length, gauge length is meter, so meter converted to millimeter is 3 into 10 raised to 3 mm. And determine the Young's modulus, also capital E. For calculating P, we have to use the formula of stress. Stress is equal to P upon A. We know the value of stress, we don't know the value of P, but we know the value of area. So 30 into 200 put in calculator, we got an answer of 6000 Newton. In kilonewton it is 6 kilonewton. Then we have to calculate Young's modulus. For calculating Young's modulus, the formula is stress upon strain. We know the value of stress, that is 30 Newton per mm square, but we don't know the value of strain. Then first calculate the strain, that is using the formula of delta L divided by L. So we know the value of delta L. Delta L is equal to 1.2 and length is given also 3 into 10 raised to 3. After putting this, we got an answer of 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 3. And uh, taking this value of strain and stress, we got an answer of Young's modulus, that is 7.5 into 10 raised to 4 Newton per mm square. In this way, we calculated P and Young's modulus. So this is our basic concept of stress, strain, and some basic problems.